Hello again. Thanks for joining us on the Weave Generation channel. My name is Brian, and this is Scott. Thanks for joining us again today. We're going to talk a little bit today about some of the studies conducted, or a study conducted on, and the information gathered about general public views on aging, and what we think about when we think about our ideal thought, or our ideal thought of aging versus our real thoughts about aging. And in starting here, the ideal thought that is very consistent is that we think about the elder generation, and we think about that as a time of feeling self-sufficient financially, being independent, having time to spend on leisure activities, and getting to know our friends even better, more and more intimate relationships with our friends. But in really stark contrast to that is through interviews and studies with the different generations, what they feel about the reality of aging in America and what that's like. What they found is that lots of different generations feel that the reality of aging is a time of deterioration, dependency, really reduced potential, and in a lot of ways technological incompetence. And that's the real feeling that there is. Again, in talking here, we'd be very interested in in hearing from you, excuse me, about your feelings on this gap, this generational gap that we, of course, are bringing together, trying to weave together to gain a better understanding. And Scott, if you could talk a little bit about what you've seen or what you saw when you have your business, this gap that's seen here with the real versus the ideal.
Well, like with any family, probably, during an intake is what we used to call them, we would see that depression, the sadness part kick in until mom or dad or grandma or grandpa figured out, you know what, this isn't all bad. This alleviates some of my pains of guilt that I feel toward having my daughter or son take care of us. There is a huge disparity, though, between that gap, and bringing it together is extremely hard. Like you said, I mean, when families are far away, that's a great example. When the families are far away from each other, it poses a huge problem, because then the families don't really know one another, what's going on with mom or dad or grandma or grandpa that day, or brother or sister, whatever. But the view on aging is negative in itself. That's a huge problem in this country. I mean, we look at it, we don't, but society looks as seniors as almost a burden still today, with all the technologies that we have and everything that we do to try to take care of our seniors the best way, or special needs. We still look at it as a burden in this country, and it's sad, because quite honestly, there's so many things that we can do that are just simple things. We can go into great detail on that in the next few videos, but back to you, Brian, on this. I would just say you need to reach out and go to groups that are supporting seniors, and you can understand a lot of what is going on behind the scenes that way. I mean, just the basics of technology alone. Skype, Facebook. These kind of things are being used on a daily basis now. Our generation will probably use those as we become senior citizens, and we're using them today to visit our parents, you know? So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different sense. We're again, of course, looking at this whole concept with three different sets of eyes, I guess, Scott. We're looking at it, you know, the younger generation is looking forward typically with hope, and that's great.
yeah.
We've got our generation that's kind of keeping our head on a swivel, looking to mom and dad, and we're looking at kids, and so we're looking both ways. And then you have the sense that there's the older generation that, of course, is looking back on life, and that doesn't need to be looked on with eyes of despair.
No, because they have a lot to contribute to society. The younger generation just doesn't know that. I mean, everyone has a legacy. That's a great way to look at it. And every one of the seniors has something to contribute to society, even today. Even in a nursing home, they still have a lot to contribute. And it's their own legacies, usually. It's what they did, what they know. It's a vast amount of knowledge there that we could tap into still, if we just give it a chance. We're too fast. I mean, you know, society is just extremely too fast to slow down, to grab on to that. I mean, you think about the legacy of your own parents after they die, you're not going to get that information later.
Right. All right, great points, Scott. Well, thanks a lot for joining us today again on as we start to or continue to explore public views on aging, and we continue, excuse me, to weave this generational gap to further understand the roles that we play as a functional nation. Please give us a call at 402-413-0221. And ask us any question on this topic that you might want. We will certainly address it in future shows. And you can reach out via email at weavegeneration@gmail.com. For Scott and Brian, thanks for joining us today.
Now what?